Hi, welcome to the Crispy Cleans team. I'm Gracie Ramsey and I'm going to be showing you guys what a standard or basic clean looks like. This is the first of 3 of our training videos, and you'll follow this video and the things I tell you and show you in this video for any of your standard or basic cleans. First, I'm going to go over all of the products that you should have for a basic clean, and I'll go over some alternatives in case you don't have those or you would prefer not to use the ones I'm going over. All right, let's get started. So in front of me, I have all of your standard clean essentials, starting with rags and microfibers. So I personally like to have 2 types of rags on me. I like to have a microfiber for polishing and for mirrors and glass surfaces, and I like to have a rag for drying other surfaces. I normally carry about 5 or 6 rags on me for one clean. I don't always use all of them, but it's good to have extras. The next thing you're going to want to have are sponges. Again, you'll want to have more than 1 sponge. For a standard clean, I recommend having 3 sponges on you, as on average you'll be cleaning about 2 bathrooms and 1 kitchen, and you'll want to use separate sponges for each of those locations. Next, and this is optional, but again, something that I prefer, is to have a duster on me. This makes reaching in higher places easier, especially because I'm not super tall. Although if you don't have access to one of these, dusting with a microfiber or a rag works just fine. Next, you'll want to have a bathroom cleaner. Depending on the state of the bathroom you're cleaning, multi-surface spray might work fine, but if there's a lot of water stains or mold, a bathroom cleaner is really good to have. You'll need multi-purpose cleaner for your kitchen and for all the other surfaces in the house. Multi-surface can also be used on the floor and other places. The next thing you'll want is a glass cleaner of some sort. However, if you don't have access to glass cleaner, vinegar works well on glass surfaces to get rid of any smudges or stains or water stains. Another really simple way to clean mirrors and other glass surfaces is just to use a damp microfiber and go back over with a dry one. This is why I really like to have microfibers on me, because they can polish things really nicely if you don't have any glass cleaner. Next, you'll want a toilet cleaner, and if you don't have this, you can always spray some multi-purpose, or even better, the bathroom spray into your toilet to clean it, but this is ideal. And then lastly, you want an oven cleaner. So this is actually multi-surface, and I do use it on everything. This is really good for bathrooms if you need to get rid of hard water stains that you just can't get out with the bathroom cleaner. But mainly I use this on ovens when things are quite stuck. This is really good to have as well. And there you have it. This is the standard clean checklist. If you have all of these, then you're ready to begin. One more thing that I recommend you have are rubber gloves. This is an absolute essential for me, and I like to have a couple pairs on me at all times, just in case one rips during a clean. These keep your hands clean, keep them dry and protected. So if this is your first time doing a professional clean, it may be a little bit overwhelming on where to start your clean. And so I'm going to break it down into some subcategories to simplify it, and I'll show you the processes that I use. You can decide if they work for you or if you prefer to do it a different way. So the subcategories are kitchen, bathroom, dusting, floors, and then extras. So I always start with the larger jobs, so those would be the deep cleans. I don't really have a preference on where I begin. It's either the kitchen or the bathroom. So to start in the kitchen, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you have a clean counter space. So to clear your counter space, you're first going to focus on dirty dishes that are on the counter or in the sink, and you can either wash those dishes by hand or you can put them in the dishwasher if the house you're cleaning has a dishwasher. Okay, now that you have a clear counter space, you can begin the actual cleaning process. When you're cleaning, you don't just want to scrub around the things that are sitting on the counter. I mean, obviously if they're super heavy and you can't move them, leave them, but for the most part, you're going to want to clear everything from the counter and move it to the other side or to a different table so you can clean everything. So once the counter space is completely clear, you're going to spray your multi-purpose spray thoroughly everywhere. This should include inside the sink and the faucets as well. This should also include the outsides of the cupboard. So spray all outsides of the cupboard so you can give a thorough wipe down. So with a wet sponge, you're going to scrub thoroughly that you sprayed. Make sure to scrub really well in between these grooves between the wall and the counter. Sometimes things can get stuck here or it can get stained. Scrub really well around the faucet and scrub the faucet as well. Scrub the wall behind as stuff can get stuck here. You'll often find stains behind the sink. Once you've done a thorough scrub, you can go back over with the same sponge, only go over with the soft side and soak up any leftover stains or crumbs. And by going over with this part here, you're getting rid of any excess cleaning product on the surfaces. So continue this process over all of the surfaces you just sprayed and wiped, just to get rid of any excess cleaning products. And then rinse and repeat for the cupboards and the outsides. So go over with the rough end of the sponge to get rid of any stains or sticky spots. And then go back over with the other side to get rid of any of the cleaning product. So I recommend scrubbing out the sink very last, so it should be the last thing you do in the kitchen. So once you're done everything else, you'll scrub out the sink and you'll dry it. If the cleaning product you sprayed in here isn't doing the job, you can use dish soap to scrub out the sink. You can also use some of that oven cleaner I showed you before. It just all depends on the state of the sink. When you're scrubbing out the sink, once again, make sure to get in between these grooves here, as this is the most common place for stains and things that stick because the water doesn't reach there often. So just give a good wipe here. Wipe the sides, also scrub well in these grooves. And then once you're finished, turn the sink on and rinse all the excess product off. Lastly, you're going to want to dry your counters or polish them with your microfiber or your rags. So you can just simply go over and dry all your surfaces and include the faucet. In fact, give the faucet a really good polishing. You can dry the outsides of the cupboards as well. However, they can also air dry. Once you're finished, another crucial step is to put everything back in its place where you found it. If there's a lot of different things on the counter, sometimes I'll just snap a picture of it so I know where to put everything. And that's one counter done. So things like microwaves are difficult to move, so I normally leave a microwave where it is placed. However, make sure to clean the outside as well as the inside of the microwave. What I recommend doing is taking out the glass plate and washing this by hand, removing this as well. And I will spray the inside of the microwave, spray the outside of the microwave, and while I'm wiping the outside, I'm letting this cleaner sit and loosen everything on the inside. Depending on the state of the microwave, what you can do is put a bowl of water in here and put it on for about 1 or 2 minutes, and this will steam and loosen up everything on the inside. So you can go back in and simply wipe it out with a rag. For surfaces like this and the inside of here, you'll want to use your glass cleaner and polish it. And go over with your microfiber. Perfect. As I said before, all the outsides of the cupboards should be scrubbed down, wiped, and dried. Next is our stovetop. There's a few different types of stovetops. For a gas stovetop, you're going to want to remove all of the parts that can come off. You'll also want to remove these. And all of these you're going to want to wash in your sink with your oven cleaner or with dish soap and your sponge. The rest of these can come off as well, but these don't normally need to be washed. And so once you have your stovetop cleared, you grab your oven cleaner and you'll just add amount. With your wet sponge, you're going to just spread out this cleaner and scrub around. The first time you go over the oven, you may not be able to get off the pieces that have been cooked to the stovetop or stuck there, but you're simply just going to spread out this cleaner first. Once your oven cleaner is equally spread out, this is a good time to wash these, as it gives this oven cleaner some time to sit and loosen up everything on here. And once you're done washing everything, you can come back and go over it again with this tough side of the sponge to get off any excess spots that you missed. And once you're done that, you're going to use the soft side of your sponge to get rid of all of the product. And then you can go over it with your microfiber or your other rag to get rid of any product you missed and to dry your stovetop. And then you're just going to put everything back where you found it. The order I like to go in the bathroom is sink, shower, toilet. No matter which order I do these two in, I always do the toilet last, because the toilet is the dirtiest place in the bathroom. You want to wash that last. That way you're not using the sponge for anything else on any other surfaces. So first and foremost, just as in the kitchen, you're going to want to remove anything that's in your way. So simply just move it, clear your counter space. So you want to have your bathroom spray and your sponge, and you're going to spray your countertop thoroughly inside the sink, on your faucet, and behind as well. You'll also want to spray the outsides of the cupboards once again. Then you'll go over with your wet sponge and give a good scrub everywhere. Scrub the faucet down to get rid of any water stains. Also scrub really well around the faucet once again. And then if there are tiles, get in between these grooves here really well. That's where a lot of the stains can hide and catch in. So use the edge of your sponge to get in here really well. Once you're finished scrubbing down, you can use that soft side of the sponge to go back over, get rid of any of the product. I like to wet my sponge and squeeze it over the faucet to get rid of any of the product, and then dry it. Once it's all wiped clean, you'll take your microfiber and go over it and dry it. And so as I said before, these microfibers are great for polishing the faucets. Another thing I recommend doing is using some glass cleaner on the faucets to give them a really nice shiny polish. You'll use the glass cleaner on your mirrors with a microfiber, wipe thoroughly, and put everything back in its place. Okay, so for the shower and bath, I first like to remove any shampoo bottles or anything, set them on the counter. I also like to get the shower curtain out of my way, and I can simply do this by tucking it into the towel rack. So now I have an open space to clean in. So you'll want to clean top to bottom, which means you'll start with the bathroom walls and finish with the tub. This is just so that you don't have to re-wipe anything. First, spray your bathroom wall. Try to get as high up as you can reach. Obviously, you don't want to be standing on the bathtub. It can be dangerous and slippery, and normally for a standard clean, you don't have to get super high up anyways. With your wet sponge, you'll use the rough side, and you'll go over once and scrub the whole wall, getting in these grooves really well, as I said, and getting rid of any stains or shampoo spots. When you're finished, I like to take a soaking wet sponge and go down the sides of the wall like this to get rid of any excess product on the walls. You can repeat this process until your wall is completely clear. Once your shower wall is clean, you can go over with your microfiber or your rag to dry it. And then for the bathtub itself, you'll do this last, and you'll spray thoroughly all throughout the bath. You'll go in with your sponge on the rough side first scrubbing and spreading around the product. Once you've done a thorough scrub, you can turn on the tap and fill up the tub just a little bit. And use this water to get rid of all of the excess cleaning product on the sides of the tub. I recommend spraying some extra product around the drain and doing a thorough scrub around there because that's where I find the most water stains can be. Take your sponge and go around the drain, over top of it. And once you're finished, you'll just drain your water and dry out the inside of the bath. And then you'll go back in with your microfiber and dry out the inside of the bath. And then you can polish your faucets again with the glass cleaner and your microfiber. Lastly, for the toilet, what I like to do is spray all the surfaces, spray here, and spray all along here and the bottom as far as you can go. And then add your toilet bowl cleaner here. And while we let the toilet cleaner sit, you're gonna go back over with your sponge and scrub all the surface areas. This includes around the toilet and near the bottom. Once the outside of the toilet is clean, you'll go in with your toilet brush and clean the inside of the toilet. I recommend doing 2 rounds of scrubbing. So scrub over the first time, and then you'll flush, and you'll go over and scrub a second time and get any of the excess that you missed, and then flush one more time and you're done. Then you can go back over and dry the toilet with your microfiber or your other rags. If the toilet handle or flush button isn't attached to the toilet, make sure to wipe it down wherever it is. One more thing I like to do is to fold them neatly and hang them as if they were clean. So once you're finished the bathroom and kitchen, now you're on to dusting. So if you have a duster, you can use this, otherwise you can use your microfiber, and you're simply just going to go over all of the surface areas and give them a really good dusting. Surface areas include things like mirrors, bedside tables, the tops of the TV. You can also get the fronts of the TV. Those can often be quite dusty. The tops of picture frames, and the fronts of them as well. Dusting might include spraying and wiping down any tables or other surfaces. It's also a really good time to do a walkthrough and see anything you missed. Once you're done dusting, you're going to move on to the floors, and the first thing you're going to do is do a really thorough vacuum of all the floors. If you're using a large vacuum like this, make sure you go back over with the smaller attachment into any of the corners or underneath anything that you couldn't reach with the larger head. Also make sure to go over the couch. Your clients might have a preferred method of cleaning the couch. Some people use lint rollers, some people use other products, and some like to just have a simple vacuum done over their couches, but make sure to double check with your client as certain couch materials can be sensitive to vacuums and you don't want to risk ruining anybody's furniture. Something you should avoid doing is vacuuming around things. You should always be moving things out of your way so you can vacuum underneath them. Obviously, with heavier things such as dining tables or couches, you don't have to move around, but make sure to get the base of it and as much as you possibly can. And lastly, you will mop. So when it comes to floor products, it's best to ask your client first what they prefer used on their floors. For example, if they have hardwood floors, they might want a wood cleaner used as opposed to a multi-purpose cleaner or another type of cleaner. If you're unsure, sometimes the best thing to use on the floor is just hot water. Sometimes a mixture of vinegar and hot water works as well. The vinegar disinfects the floor and gets rid of any streaks or stains. There's a sort of technique when it comes to mopping itself. It's pretty simple. If you've never mopped before, always work backwards so that you're not stepping over something you've already cleaned. So you'll work in a backwards motion and get all of the floors this way. I like to mop the entrance or exit area first so that it's dry by the time that I leave. I mop any of the more crucial areas always first just so that they'll be dry by the time I need to go and use them again. And while those areas are drying, I'll go back in and mop the bathroom, the kitchen, and bedrooms. Similar to the vacuuming, make sure you get in those corners really well and make sure you're scrubbing well to get rid of any stains or things that are stuck to the floor. And the very last thing you'll be doing in your clean are the extras. Extras include things like garbage or recycling. Often your client will leave you with a key or a fob to get down to the garbage room. Make sure you're emptying all of the garbages throughout your clean. That will include bathroom garbages, kitchen garbages, bedroom, and anywhere else that there's a garbage. And you'll take those down as well as any recycling. Once you've emptied all the garbages, make sure to replace the bags with new ones. And lastly, before we end this video, I'm just gonna give you guys some advice and what not to do during a clean. So first and foremost, if you're ever unsure about anything, always ask your client and never assume. The last thing you wanna do is ruin something, break something, or upset your client in any way. Another piece of advice is to never use any product on stainless steel. This is a mistake I made early on in my cleaning career, and it's one you don't want to make. Cleaning product can leave really bad streaks on stainless steel, and so the only products you should be using on stainless steel are stainless steel products. And if you don't have those products, what you can do is go over with a damp microfiber and wipe any marks away, and then go back over with a dry microfiber. Hopefully you won't, but if you ever break anything during a clean, don't panic, but always let your client know right away. Sometimes they'll want you to replace it, other times they won't care, and so it's always smart to tell them right away so that you know what to do and how to go forward. Use your time wisely. If you don't think you've been given enough time for the state the house is in, always prioritize deep cleaning over anything else. So do things like the kitchen and the bathroom, and keep the dusting and the floors for last, unless you're told otherwise. You can always request more time, but always ask your client before you do. And on the reverse side of that, if your client is asking you to stay longer, you always have the right to decline staying longer than you've been scheduled for. If you haven't been left with a fob or a key for garbage and recycling, it's best to leave it near the door or the entrance so that your client can take it down themselves, but it's easy to access. If cleaning products are provided for you, make sure to let your client know if they're running low on anything so that they can replace it for you. I always like to leave the rags in the sink or in the washer if I'm using rags that the client is providing me. If your client is asking you to do a load of laundry, always start the load first so that by the time you're finished your clean, you can switch the load over to the dryer and even fold it if it's done in time. When it comes to bedding and making the beds, sometimes your clients want you to strip it and put on new sheets. But if that's not the case, then make the bed just as you would with clean sheets. So that means take the time and the effort to make sure the sheets are straight, there's no wrinkles, both sides are even, etc. And that's all for a standard clean. I hope that this was helpful and that you feel confident in your cleans and leave a lasting positive impression on your clients. Welcome to the Crispy Cleans team.